14. Day 14 sees me taking up those that I put down last night and vacuuming up and scraping off and nailing down and doing all the prep so that all these pieces will fit in here nicely. Also, this transition piece, which is also like a faux marble, I cut to size right midstream of the doorway, and I'll glue that down and do these little fill-in pieces. So yeah, that's looking nice, and it's also nice I don't have to continue on with any more tile because these are a bear to work with a little bit. I scabbed in these pieces at the bottom left and right, as I mentioned yesterday, so those are actively drying. And I also got some Schluter trim that actually fit. The other one got kind of bumped out a little bit, and so this fits perfectly flush. So I'll backfill some thin set inside all of that because there's a void there that I did on purpose. I do it that way all the time. Much easier. In fact, that's probably the biggest thing you can get from this video. Leave that void about half an inch, well, about 3/4 to an inch or so, about the width of this. Then you can retroactively slide it in there. Much easier than trying to glue it on the wall first and bring the tile up to it. But that's just me. Yeah, so I'm gonna get started. Not much to show today, except for finishing off that, setting that tile, setting the threshold, and setting all of these. Then I'm going to go away. I have some return items to take back to Home Depot and Lowe's and Floor & Decor, so I'll be gone for about an hour and a half, 2 hours with a fan on all this stuff. Then I can get in here and do some cleanup on the thin set and start grouting. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see the whole thing done. I also contracted to a sheetrock guy who's going to come in here. I'm not going to do this. You know, he claims that all of this can be remediated, that there's no point in putting 1/4 inch sheetrock on top of here, that he can tape all these edges and take that out and, yeah, make it nice and paintable. So I'm going to hire him to do that rather than me have to worry about it, and he will be in here on Monday. But yeah, I'm going to take that sheetrock back too. I think I got 4. I think I got 4 pieces. Either 3 or 4. Anyway, so I'm going to take all that stuff back. Oh, by the way, I mentioned on another video that I don't charge for material, meaning that everything that you see, all the prep material and all that stuff, my customer pays the same price. I just go pick it up, hand him the receipt, and then they pay me back for what I spent. So in that same mindset, I don't pocket any money that, when I take back material, I minus that off of the final payment, because I've already done a return and it goes back to my card, and that would be unfair to keep it and then charge somebody else for it later on. I know some contractors do that, and it's one of those dirty little secrets, I think, but I just spilled the beans. So I'm gonna get working.
It's all grouted. It's all grouted. What is that? Oh, that's a screw I left up there. 2 screws. It's all grouted. In fact, it's almost dry. It's a lot of air conditioning in here, so it's pretty much dried out already. Yeah, not too bad. As I told you when I started with the downstairs bathroom on the first video, there's very, very slight lippage with this tile. It's inevitable. I don't like it, but it's not too bad. And the floor is done. I gotta clean out the drain cap, get all that gunk out of there and everything. I'll be back tomorrow to put the finishing pretty stuff up there. And maybe even get the vanity in here. I don't know if we're gonna do that yet. But yeah, it is finished. The whole floor is grouted. And that's about it. That's all I can say on day 14. It's gonna bleed into day 15, only because of the final touches and stuff like that. But not too bad. I have a standalone video on my channel somewhere on these angle stops. This is an angle stop. Normally it's just a stop, but this is an angle stop because it goes in angles. And I showed on that video how easy these compression, that's a compression ring, and how easy these are to put on. First the nut, then the compression ring, which does exactly what it sounds like. It compresses and shuts down and makes it watertight. And the ease at which these go on, compared back in the old days where you had to sweat it on, makes it so anybody, homeowner, could swap these out and not pay a plumber a boatload of money, because they do make a boatload of money. There's really no such thing as over tightening. Once it compresses, it's going to tighten itself. That's in the on position. Turn it off. You're good to go. So, let me get back to my other problem I ran into. See that nipple? I gave myself enough room for it to go on, but it's a 1/4 inch out too far. Where this goes on after it screws in is a 1/4 inch too far. The thing is, like, I don't make mistakes. I've never had a shower fail. Maybe one day I will, and I'll get 1 million views on that video. But I do have probably 4 or 5 videos where I've made a mistake during, and then I fix it. And this is one of those during, and I gotta fix it. So I give myself a little bit of playroom. I don't anchor it solid, because if you did, then you're stuck. Especially if it's too far back, you can't catch a thread. Because I gave myself some playroom, I can push it back, and I had to chip out some of the tile. And then all I have to do is get this bad boy inside of there, manipulate that inside. I might have to chip out some more, screw that down because there's blocking back there, and push it to the point where that's about where I need it. So that's a solution. Because the other solution was to go to the bathroom next door, and there's a mirror there, because a vanity runs the length of this on that wall, and there's a mirror, and that would have sucked to have to take that mirror off and go through the wall to pull this back. So there's really no problems in life. Sometimes there's only a solution that makes life easier. Of some products. I don't like that. It needs longer screws. I'm gonna use longer screws on that. Don't like that at
Well,
all.
it is finished. Officially, anyway. Officially. Basically, day 14. Yeah, 14. So, the little time that I come in today to put on all the pretty stuff, I don't really count as a whole day. But the only reason I had to come back today to do that is because I had grouted yesterday and I didn't want to muck up all the grout and all that stuff. Otherwise, I could have probably done all this stuff first and then grouted, but either which way. Look at that sprayer. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know what all that stuff is for. Anyway, you saw me put this in here. I don't know if I mentioned it. Did I mention it? Yeah, pilot hole. With these drill bits that go through tile, do a little pilot hole first. It'll save you a lot of aggravation and extra chips and stuff like that. So as you saw me do with the smaller bit, and then just graduate to the size that you need. Easier way to go. Also, if you have a little spray bottle, and I do have one in a second person, which I don't, then that person will be spraying on that bit because the bit will heat up. Especially this is kind of well, it's ceramic, and porcelain is much more difficult to drill through. And yeah, you will heat that thing up and you'll ruin the tip. The tip will actually fall off. It's happened many times with me. And a little grommet thing that I had to deal with. That was so aggravating. And so if you're ever going to put one of these on, know that your threaded nipple needs to be almost flush with your finished tile. Almost flush. Maybe coming out about, I don't know, about 3/8 of an inch or so. But that 1/2 inch that I had it sticking out was not going to work. Not going to work at all. But I solved the problem. And yeah, this is the R22000. I've spoken about this before. I have a video about it. I really like it because, as I said on that other video back in the day, we needed a diverter, right? This is an inline diverter. So this would be like the shower head. This would be the second feature that you have, which in this case is here, and then this would be simultaneous. So you'd have both. If you use the third port, because there's 3 ports on here, one of them you block off if you're not having 3 features. But if you had 3 features, then feature 1 would be this, feature 2 would be that, whoops, right there, that would be that, and then say you had a rain shower head, then that would be feature 3. Then you wouldn't have the ability, I don't think, to have the simultaneous thing. So I just like that because not having to sweat in 2 different parts, 2 components. So the diverter is here. This is a temperature control. And the temperature control is a really funny thing on this R22000. I don't know why they don't make it simpler to adjust. There's a couple, I have a video on that. Adjustment of R22000 temperature control. And you will see that video. I made it about 3 years ago only because I've had problems trying to adjust the temperature before. And then the volume control, of course, is the bottom. The water is currently off, so I can't test it right now, but I'm going to test it momentarily as soon as I get off of here. So yeah, that's it. Iceberg lettuce, an iceberg niche, and a little Schluter strip. I don't do 45s when I do the inverted meaning here. I only do 45 cuts if I have the larger piece showing. Otherwise, I just top it out on the top there. And the window seal type niche. And that's about it. That's all I can really share with you, except for the drain. I always do taper cuts. I think from day one, I don't believe I've ever done, unless I had a square drain and I was relegated that I couldn't do a taper cut. I think I've always done taper cuts. It just made more sense to me over the years, to have your tile slightly above your drain cap. And then the taper cuts are done on each individual tile so that water has a positive access flow into the drain. And I don't see other people doing that. I hope I help somebody. With this series of videos that I have to take for your consumption, for your benefit. Schluter trim on both edges, going all the way up. And I think I did mention about having that hollow space there so the Schluter trim goes in. So there's a lot of hints here. There's a lot of information for those that want it. That's kind of what a full bathroom renovation comes down to. I'm going to be back here probably in about 3 or 4 days when the ceiling guy does his thing and it gets painted. Then I'm going to help my customer, because 4 hands are better than 2. So, you know, to get that vanity, it's quite bulky and hard to get at. So we're going to move the vanity in here, and then I guess he's going to hook up all the plumbing and all that stuff afterward and set the toilet. Oh, the other bathroom. Let me show you this without showing too much of, I don't want to like showing my customer's house. Look how old this tile is. Isn't this cool? This is like, I don't know if it's a sunflower or if it's a sun, but either which way, I like it because I'm a sun worshiper. And if I had had this tile in my bathroom back in the 70s, that would have made me very happy. Cast iron tub, same type of build that we had next door, and this is all going to go. Really not too bad looking for as old as it is. You know, a little grout missing here and there, but it's the same build out. This is a floated wall, this is a floated floor and all that stuff, so it's a lot of weight and a lot of trouble to get out of here. But I think he'll be calling me back to come in and renovate this one too. So I can't wait to see what his design is for that one. If it's like the one downstairs with the penny or this one, then I anticipate a fun time. I managed to come back about a week later. Things were looking very good. I helped Jay with this vanity, very heavy wood, solid wood vanity, you know, that doesn't have the backs, which is perfect for the plumbing. So we managed to get this in kind of sideways and around a bunch of different corners, but it looks very nice. And it is blue, dark navy blue, which matches, you know, of course, the navy blue here. And the painting got done. Look at that. So all of those haters out there that didn't like my sheetrock work, that didn't like my mudding and my taping, it all disappeared. Look at that. It all disappeared. A little tiny hint right there. It's not even hardly noticeable. But yeah, just like a professional. Check this out. When I put the sheetrock up, and this is one of the little snafus that I forgot to mention, there's 2 vents in here, one over there and one over here. When I put the sheetrock up, I forgot that this vent was here, like a solid piece of sheetrock one against this wall. And then my customer came to me days later and said, "Hey Bob, you covered up the vent." And I'm like, "Oh crap, my bad." So he cut out where the vent cover goes, and look at that. Look at that little half an inch room. Like, what I normally do is I take my tile out to the last fullest one, which I did here, half full, half full, half full. Just outside of the shower, because I don't want rot and stuff like that to get in the sheetrock outside of the shower, because I see that a lot. And so in this case, the math worked out to this point, and then the hidden vent that I covered up. Sometimes luck is better than accidents. But yeah, it looks very nice. If I don't say so myself, it is getting there. Once the toilet, oh yeah, so there was going to be a bidet here, and the bidet had some type of system where they needed an outlet, and they decided against it because after the 4th one came in cracked, they decided to put just a regular toilet there. But that's still good for iPhone users. So there's that. Anyway, I'm out. Just wanted to kind of show the finished sheetrock. Oh, the ceiling, look at that. Look at that, look at that, look at that. I can't take credit for that. I parted this out to a sheetrock guy, but from what it was, go back to the first video, 14 videos ago, from what it was to what it is now. Just awesome. Hey, if you enjoyed that video and you learned something, consider being a Patreon member. $5, $10, $15 a month would help me greatly produce more videos. I make nothing from YouTube at all. If you're gonna call me for advice, please donate $50 for 30 minutes. My link to my PayPal and my Patreon account is down below. And if you haven't already,
hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get immediate notifications as soon as I post videos. And thank you very much for your support.